This is the Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you may have missed this morning, but we also take a look at the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 3rd of June. I am Miss Pope.
I am Serbia.
And I am AX. But before I read the headlines, we have a very special message for a very particular candidate. Welcome Zuruk Kalonzo.
Kalonzo dobrodošli nedostaje osinam.
Karibu tena Azimio.
And on that note, here are the headlines for the day. In the Daily Nation, the deal Kalonzo brokered. In the Standard, the deal Kalonzo could not resist. In the Star, deal that returned Kalonzo to Azimio. And in the People Daily, Kalonzo back, Raila wins big. Serbia, why don't you kick us off?
So, away from Kalonzo, today I want to talk about Ruto's revelation of electoral fraud. Yesterday, in a meeting with a delegation from the European Union, Ruto complained about a plot to rig the 2022 elections. He also told us that apparently 1 million of his voters were missing from their list. Is he by any chance getting this information from the government intelligence reports he claims he receives? Yet he openly told us he was kicked out of government.
Yes.
Anyway, what we know is that the only supporting evidence he has for his claims against the IBC is that someone told him so, and so we should believe him. Or should we? Joseph Goebbels, the chief propagandist of the Nazi party, once said, always accuse your enemy of exactly what you're doing. This projection could be in fact what Ruto is doing with his recent claims of IEBC trying to rig the elections. I say this because Ruto never spoke up when the IEBC's incompetence and biasness worked in his favor. It worked in his favor when UDA refused to amend their party list to make them compliant with the 2/3 gender principle. It worked in his favor when the IEBC cleared Gachagua to become his running mate, despite his glaring Chapter 6 violations. It also worked in his favor in 2013 and 2017 when he was on the same team with Moshero, Matiang'i, Kebisho, and any other person he now claims is out to rig him. That time when he was in control, IEBC was his ally. And that's why he always used to issue warnings to Baba against threatening IEBC officials. But now, when IEBC competence might threaten his candidacy, he speaks because he's scared the system will work against him successfully. That's why he's urging the cabinet secretaries to resign. Yet he continues earning a salary as a ghost worker himself.
Indeed, yeah.
But regardless of his inconsistency and multiple personalities disorder, I hypothesize that Ruto is trying to sell us a narrative to misdirect us. Perhaps to misdirect us from his own efforts. On Tuesday this week, there were revelations that the IBC systems had been breached. We don't know who did it, we don't know how they did it, and we don't know what they were looking for. Yet, immediately after news of this breach leaked, Ruto comes out alleging the disappearance of his voters. An allegation without much evidence, but with so much certainty that we must ask one question. How did he know? We have seen these tricks before. In the 2020 American general election, the Republicans were shouting the loudest that there was a plan to rig because of the mail-in ballot. And the Republicans began accusing the Democrats of stealing the election through the mail-in ballots. Why? Because this is what they had done themselves. The Republican Party is on record admitting it engaged in election malpractices. If the Republican Party, a party older than your grandmother, can be so bold with their rigging scheme, what then will UDA do? The only question left is why? Why cry to the Europeans? And why go to them to report of the alleged plot against you? Is it possible that Ruto is creating a background of acceptance for electoral misengineering and rigging? Or is it possible that Ruto is trying to create a background of acceptance for what will happen after people riot, the streets believing his tall tales? Only time will tell.
Wow, powerful submission. Miss Pope,
yes.
why don't you take over?
So yesterday, the Star reported that William Ruto has withdrawn from the presidential debates that are scheduled to run in July due to continued bias by the media. Now, we hypothesize that this must be as a result of two reasons. One, Ruto is drawing from the 2013 Uhuru playbook. And two, William Ruto cannot attend the presidential debate. Allow me to explain. So first, Ruto is repeating President Uhuru's playbook of 2013. President Uhuru Kenyatta made a similar announcement in 2013. He announced that he would not be attending the presidential debate. But despite consistently saying that he will not attend the debate, he showed up. And this ended up working in his favor. However, we hypothesize that William Ruto should be a man of his word and skip this year's presidential debate. Why? Because he cannot afford the scrutiny. William Ruto has consistently shown the country how two-faced he is. So one day he says that Jubilee administration has not achieved much. And then he goes ahead to campaign on the very same projects that have been achieved by President Uhuru. Indeed, Ruto has been using information asymmetry to win the August 2022 election. I will explain. In game theory, there is information symmetry and information asymmetry. Information symmetry refers to a piece of relevant information that is known by all parties involved. Information asymmetry, on the other hand, refers to a situation where one party has more or better information than the other. And this creates an imbalance of power and even manipulation. Put differently, information asymmetry is where Ruto will tell the people in Coast one thing about the port and then tell the people in Naivasha something completely different. This information asymmetry is the reason Ruto cannot attend the presidential debate. Because he knows he will find it hard to defend all the lies that he has been peddling in the marketplace. Now, a presidential debates are not anything close to standing on top of cars and hurling insults to your opponents while doing sarakasi on stage. Presidential debates are sober and logical conversations among intellects. Issues are interrogated in depth, and candidates are expected to defend their stand on various issues. All the vague promises of giving Mama Mbogas 100 billion and then Boda Boda guys 150 billion without having to elaborate on the structures that these promises are based on will be logically interrogated. This is why Ruto ought to stick to his withdrawal from the presidential debate. It is the only way he will save himself from deconstruction.
Wow,
What a prince of doublespeak.
Indeed. So today I would like to take a different tact entirely, and I would like to unpack the President's Madaraka Day address. I know I'm a little bit late. I'm doing this today because I had hoped that country would consider President Kenyatta's words critically, but unfortunately we have not. And I know we have not because we have completely overlooked the central purpose of that address. In this year's Madaraka Day address, the President answered the question of why. Simon Sinek in his book Start With Why proposes a winning formula to life in general, but to development and politics in our case. The formula is called the Golden Circle. The Golden Circle is made up of 3 concentric circles. At the center of the Golden Circle is why, the next concentric circle is how, and the outmost circle after that is what. Now, the what is easy. The what is infrastructure, it is re-evaluating our education curriculum, and it is properly equipping our healthcare facilities. The how is also simple enough. This is about identifying beneficiaries, either the location or the people, and raising funds for the various projects. Where it starts to get complex is in answering the question of why. Why invest billions in an expressway? Why overhaul our educational curricula? Why incur debt? Why invest in a port? Because Kenyans do not know why, it becomes a lot easier to criticize these projects as white elephants and term them as unnecessary. More importantly, without knowing and understanding why, Kenyans can be lied to by those who wish to take away these gains. So, why did the President direct development the way that he did? In sum, the people of Kenya. CBC was implemented to nurture the potential of the future, while the SGR road and port projects were implemented to realize the untapped potential of the present. Debt was incurred by the government so that the people may be wealthy and dignified, not merely rich. And notice how these projects spanned the nation. As he noted, and I quote, from Makueni to Mandera, Busia to Bungoma, Mombasa to Meru, Lamu to Laikipia, and from Turkana to Tharaka Nithi. Notice how these projects were not political goodies to be doled out as rewards for electoral support, like, let's say, promising to return the Naivasha dry port to Mombasa only if the coast votes for you. This favoritism is exactly why answering the question of why matters. By explaining to the people of Kenya the vision that animated the development, the President not only empowered country to evaluate the projects for themselves, but directly responded to Ruto's populist platform. Not only challenging the misinformation he has fed the people about, but also laying down a gauntlet at his feet. Now that the President has explained his vision for country, what is Ruto's? Bottoms up is not a vision. This answers the what. Hustlers are not a vision. This answers the how. what vision for country is animating their, or rather UDA's, model of development? In essence, why does William Ruto want to be president?
Good question.
Good question indeed. Now, we have a 3-part criteria that we use to judge our headlines. We ask ourselves 3 questions. We ask ourselves if the headlines are topical or speculative, repetitive or groundbreaking, thoughtful or just plain lazy. Now, in case you forgot what the headlines are, allow me to repeat them for you today. In the Daily Nation, we have the deal Kalonzo brokered. In the Standard, the deal Kalonzo could not resist. In the Star, deal that returned Kalonzo to Azimio. And in the People Daily, Kalonzo back, Raila wins big. What do you guys think?
All of them are talking about Kalonzo.
Yeah.
I think we should toss all of them.
We should toss all of them.
Yeah, sure. Kalonzo came back, but Kambas were always in Azimio.
Yes.
I think even Kalonzo's heart was in Azimio too.
True. All right, so we're tossing them on. Ms. Pope, would you mind tossing all of the headlines, because we have absolutely no winning headline today. And on that note, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are also on your TV screens. You can find us on Pang Free to Air, GoTV, and Star Times. I would like to leave you a quote from the president of our great republic, President Kenyatta, when he was conferring the city status to Nakuru in December 2021. He said, and I quote, "Leadership needs wisdom, which is mostly brought about by age. You can start campaigning early with speed, but before long you are tired. And the person you branded old will come at his pace and overtake you." Very wise words for a very particular candidate. Have a lovely weekend.